Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle, and today I'm going to be bringing you a reading vlog of the Mindf series by St. Abby. So I am so excited to be rereading this series. I absolutely loved it the first time around. I read this in 2021, and if you're unaware, this actually follows a female serial killer who is out trying to get revenge on those who hurt her, and she actually meets an FBI agent and they start dating. He is the agent on her case, and he is trying to essentially find her. He doesn't know that he's dating her. She does know that he's looking for her though. She ends up helping him trying to find her, which I really thought was funny throughout the series. And it is a very, very dark romance, so just be aware of that. You do see scenes where she is torturing them and where she was abused, and that is something that if that bothers you, you definitely should not be reading this series. But this is going to be a spoiler-filled vlog, so just know that going in. I'm not going to hold anything back, seeing as this is my second time around. I'm really excited to see what I missed the first time around and maybe see if I can put anything together. But the reason that I'm actually doing this reread is because I managed to get the prettiest copy of this book. This is the Mystic Box edition, and they just had their extras sale, and somehow, by some sheer luck, I managed to snag a copy of this. I am so excited. People are reselling this for like $300, and I did not want to pay that. I missed out the first time, so I'm pumped that I got this. I'm gonna give you a quick tour of it because it is absolutely gorgeous. So we have the cover, some gorgeous sprayed edges. The back is really pretty as well. Then we have the spine. Underneath the dust jacket is absolutely gorgeous. It's foiled on the front and the back. And the saying on the back says, "To defeat a monster, you have to be twice as monstrous. To love a monster, you have to share your soul." And then on the inside, we have the digital signature and this gorgeous end page. And then the back end page is just red and black. So I'm just going to take you along as I read all 5 of the books again. In order, it's The Risk, Sidetracked, Scarlet Angel, All the Lies, and Painted All Red. So I figure since they're all novella length, I'll just check in with you after I finish each book and let you know how I'm feeling about them. I can't wait to get started, and I'll see you when I'm done with the first one. Hey guys, I'm back. I finished the first book, The Risk, and I had such a good time. I remembered bits and pieces of the book. Some pieces were new to me, so that was kind of nice since it's been so long, but I'm just going to go into it and I'll let you know what I think. So first up, I love how their first meeting went. They were in the coffee shop and they met, and Logan's partner, Craig, I think his name is, was hitting on Lana, and Lana pretty much just like turned him down immediately and sent him crawling back. Logan ends up talking to her outside, and he actually ends up profiling her while they're talking, and she figures out that he's the FBI agent when he gives her his card. So that was a super cute first meeting, and I really knew I was going to root for them right away. So Lana's whole thing is she's getting revenge for an act that a group of people did to her and her brother many, many years ago. She is killing all the guys that were associated with that. So right now she is actually in the process of killing one of them. It is very graphic. We do see all of the stuff she's doing to them, and they talk about it in the FBI side of things. They kind of go through and say exactly what she's been doing. So Lana is killing Ben, and she kind of goes into it. She's like, this is going to be 3 days because you assaulted me 3 times, and I'm going to take 3 pounds of flesh from you. So Lana is a badass. I really love her just getting her revenge on these guys for what they did to her. So during this whole time, Logan is away on FBI business, as is Lana doing her killing, and they've been texting. Their text conversations are really cute. I really enjoy them. But this one time they're talking, and Lana essentially gives Logan permission to look up her address and come over. He is an FBI agent, girl. What do you think you are doing? He is most likely on your case. I mean, we know he is. She doesn't know that yet. But come on, be safer. Yes, I get that he's hot, and obviously you're going to end up together, but come on, girl. Be careful. And that's essentially what her friend Jake says to her in the end. He's like, what are you doing dating an FBI agent? You need to be way more careful, and I think they're going to get into it later on. So later on, Lana actually goes over to Logan's house and he's in the shower and she's looking around the house snooping and she comes across a case that he is working on. So she starts reading it while he's in the shower. He comes back out and he's like, oh my gosh, I should not have let that out for you. Like, I'm so sorry. You should not be looking at this. And she's like, well, blah, blah, blah. And she starts telling him things about the case. And he's like, well, I guess what are your opinions on it then? So she goes and tells him all this stuff. And she's like, I think he's a janitor. And they're like, oh, we never put that in our like assessment of that. So he calls that in and they end up solving the case because of her. But somebody tipped off this janitor guy and now he's on the run. And that is definitely playing on into the next book because we leave off with him taunting Logan, pretty much just asking him to come and get him. But back to Lana, she ends up killing 2 more guys in this book and she kills them together. Jake helps and he does not have a stomach for this, so he's off puking in the car and she does all that and she comes back and Logan ends up going out one more time and Hadley, who's Logan's subordinate, shows up at the door with some papers asking Lana, like, why did you steal this rich heiress's identity? And that's how we leave the book. So Hadley knows something's going on, and I vaguely remember this storyline, so I'm excited to see where it goes from here because I can't remember the particulars of it. But so far, I'm really liking the relationship dynamic between the two of them. So the first time they end up having sex, she's worried that she's going to feel like claustrophobic and she doesn't like being held down. But when he does that to her, not purposefully, she actually feels like she's okay with it. So that was kind of nice. She's realizing what her triggers are and she's overcoming those. But I can't wait to continue on to the next one and I'll check back after that one. So I am back and I just finished the second book. I am loving it. That book was Sidetracked. And I am about there right now. If you can see, that's what I've read. I've read, let's see, how many pages? 210 pages, and the book is 614 pages long. So I am just trucking through. I'm having a really good time. So this one opens up right where we left off with Lana talking to Hadley and Hadley kind of accusing Lana of something, but she's not sure what. So Lana conveniently has all of these excuses as to why she would have these scars and everything like that. And she talks about how Jake has gone into the system and changed all of her DNA results and everything. So she should be showing up as the person that she is claiming to be, even though she is not that person. So now because of all of this, she goes and tells Jake that he needs to look into Hadley's background and see what's going on with her because she's a problem and they need to solve that problem. So there's a funny scene where Logan brings his ex-girlfriend Elaine over to the house just because he had people in his car, and he shows up to Lana's house and Elaine is acting all like grumpy because she's like doesn't like Lana at all. And then Lana starts acting like a super jealous girlfriend as well, and Logan's jealous and everybody's just jealous of everybody else, and I love it. It's so fun. But Logan gets called away because the boogeyman drops another body and they go out. They go in 2 separate cars, which is good for this because the first car goes and actually gets hit by a truck and it's the boogeyman. He comes out, he carves something into Elaine's arm and pretty much incapacitates them and leaves them on the side of the road. But one of the other girls actually manages to shoot him, so now he is hurt. So that is good. But Logan rocks on up a little bit later because they needed some gas and weren't there at the time and starts freaking out because he's like, I know he's going to go after Lana now. What do I do? But Logan doesn't think to text Lana and let her know that he's okay. His phone has actually died and Lana gets told that something happened to somebody on the team, but they don't tell her who on the team. And with him not answering, she freaks out thinking that it's him. So she goes to the hospital, runs in. Logan gets really mad because she's not supposed to be there because the boogeyman could be watching. And he kind of like pushes her away and she gets really mad saying, you didn't answer me back. I've done everything. I've let the police in my house when I don't even like them. I've done all of this stuff and you couldn't just answer me back and let me know that you weren't dead. So that goes down. She leaves. She kicks Duke out of his house and she's like, I'm leaving. You get out of my house. When I get back, I don't want to see you here. So she leaves. She goes over to Jake's and she's like, I need to kill somebody right now. So Jake has previously found out about Hadley and he starts telling her about Hadley's stepdad, who was a pedophile and did all this stuff to little girls. So Lana actually goes and kills Hadley's stepdad. While she's there killing him, she extracts all the information. She finds out all the kids that he ever harmed, finds out where they're buried so that she can pass it along to the FBI because she is trying to help. But while she is there, she finds out that he has a child in a shed. So she goes, saves the girl, and brings her over to this girl called Lindy May's house. Lindy May was actually a resident in the town that she grew up in. She actually tried to help Lana when the guys were torturing her, and she tried to tell everybody what was going on, but nobody would believe her, and they ended up hurting her in turn. So she's left and lives on her own now. She divorced her husband because nobody believed her, and she's been set to the side. But Lana comes with this little girl and tells her she needs a place to live. Please take care of her. Don't tell anybody what's going on. But when the FBI starts looking into this guy's murder, please go bring this girl to the FBI and let them know what happened. And here's like a letter that has all the stuff where he's killed everybody and buried them. So it's great that Lana's done this. She's helping people out now. But they find him pretty quickly, and Logan gets a call that he needs to go back into the office, and he's like, I want you to come with me. I don't want to leave you alone right now. So she ends up going into the FBI office with him. So Logan being Logan, he's smart and all that. He actually tracks this kill of Hadley's dad back to the same killer that is killing all of the guys that he's looking for, which is Lana. But he doesn't realize it's her at the time. So he's like, oh no, these are two connected cases now. Why? What's going on? So now they have a lot more to look into because they have to change the whole profile of the serial killer because now he has things to add on to it. So he needs to keep working. So he lets Lana go home by himself, and he's like, I'll have the police come and watch the house again. But when Lana gets there, the boogeyman is actually there waiting for her and attacks her and takes her. And that's where the end of it leaves off. I'm really excited to get into the third one. This has been such a fun reread for me. I have been picking up things that I missed the first time, and it's fun to see it again. And I actually pretty much forgot a lot of the story, so I'm glad that this is giving me the review that I need. But I'm going to head out now. It's a Saturday, and my husband has to work today, so I'm going to go visit him. I might show you a little bit of what I'm going to get to eat. I think I'm going to do some French fries and some hot sauce. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll start the next one, and I'll be back with my thoughts. Hey guys, so I decided to come down to the park to read for a little bit since it's really sunny out. It is really cold. It's like 22 degrees, but the sun is shining, and it's just really nice to see the sun out, so I wanted to be outside. So I'm here. I'm going to do a little bit of reading on my phone since I do have the Kindle copies of the books downloaded as well. It helps to go back and forth between the physical and the Kindle for me. It just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to pick that up, finish reading the third book, and then I'll come back with my update. So I am back from my little excursion. It was really nice to sit outside and read. It was super, super cold though. I had my gloves on, my hood up, and I probably only stayed for like a half hour. But it was nice to sit in the sun, and I really enjoyed myself. So I finished the third book, Scarlet Angel. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first two books. The first two books both got 5 stars. This one is going to get 4 stars, and I actually looked and saw what I rated it last time I read them, and I stayed pretty true to my rating. I didn't change anything. But back to the story. The boogeyman has been carving words into people's arms, and the words say, Logan Bennett, you can't keep her safe. So he is directly going after Logan, and he is talking about Lana. So Logan starts freaking out because nobody is going home with Lana. He realizes that nobody is watching the house, and he's like, this is his chance. He knows that the boogeyman is going to get her right now. Prior to all this happening though, Hadley said she was going home, but instead she ends up going to Lana's house to snoop around because when they were at the FBI, they saw the little girl that Lana had saved come in, and the little girl waved at her, and Hadley, like, something clicked in her mind, and she's like, I need to look into Lana a little bit more and see what's going on. So she is in Lana's house, and the boogeyman actually captures her and puts duct tape on her mouth and wraps her up and sticks her in the closet. So when Lana comes home and the boogeyman kind of incapacitates her, and I say kind of because she beat him up after the fact, she let him get a couple good hits in, and then she went at him. And she has this whole villain monologue thing going on because she doesn't think anybody is in her house with her. So she tells him that I'm better than you at killing, blah, 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 all this stuff. And there Hadley is locked in the closet watching Lana kill this terrible serial killer and realizing that Lana is the serial killer that they are looking for, that's dismembering the men. But Hadley doesn't know what to do, so she's like, I need to stay quiet until this is all over and then figure out what I'm going to be doing. So Lana ends up killing the guy, and then the cops finally make it there, and she's like, he's dead in there, and she's like doesn't know how to react because she's like, I've been killing for a while, but I need to act like I'm sad about this, and she's not doing a very good job. But then they find Hadley locked in the closet, and Lana starts freaking out because she's like, now she knows that I am a serial killer, like what do I do? But Hadley ends up lying for her and saying that it was just a fluke thing, that he ran into the knife and he didn't see it coming. So she is actually protecting Lana, and I really ended up liking their friendship in this book. So they talk, Lana kind of explains everything to Hadley, and Hadley has to make the decision if she's going to keep quiet or not, and in the end she does keep quiet, and she's actually kind of helping Lana. I really enjoy this relationship between the two of them, because this is Lana's first real girlfriend, and Hadley knows everything that she's done, and she's obviously judging her on it, but she's not saying anything. I feel like she believes in Lana's cause now that Lana has told her every single thing that happened to her, and I really like Hadley as a character. She went through her own stuff with her stepdad and all of that coming out, so Lana really is trying to help her, which is why I'm happy that they have this friendship going on now. But now that Hadley knows that Lana is the killer, Hadley is still investigating. So she's trying to not out Lana as the killer, but still has to investigate this for her job and to help Logan find the killer, who now she knows who is the killer and doesn't want to tell Logan. So it's a whole big web of lies that's going on right now, and Lana repeatedly says that she hates that she's lying to Logan, and I really hate that she's lying to Logan too. So now that all the pieces are falling into place, Logan knows that this has to do with Delaney Grove, which is where Lana grew up. So all of that is coming together, and in that we have a corrupt FBI agent, Johnson, who is trying to cover up the stuff that happened 10 years ago and his F-up in essentially putting the wrong person behind bars. So now they have to contend with Johnson and him trying to hide his stuff, as well as actually trying to find the killer. So now they're all in Delaney Grove. Hadley actually convinced Logan to bring Lana with them, so that is a reason why she is there, so she doesn't have to be sneaking around while she's trying to kill all the other guys. And we actually get the backstory to her sexual assault and what happened during that day for her. Then we get a very graphic scene right before she gets to Delaney Grove where she's killing one of the guys, and you see everything she is doing. She cuts this guy's penis off, stabs it to the ground, and then sets him on fire. Again, Lana is a badass at getting her revenge. While all that was going on, though, and she was torturing him, Jake actually went to town and opened a bunch of people's doors and painted some words all over their walls. Nothing happened at the time, but the next day when they all get there, these words start popping up all over town, and all of the townspeople are freaking out because it's kind of like a cult-like town, and they are taught to believe one thing, and now they're all not being told about the serial killer going around. But I guess this town has like the ghost of the Evans kids haunting it. The Evanses are Lana and her brother, but with their original name. Her name is Victoria Evans. Oh, and she makes all of the water in the town turn red too. But the book ends with Logan and his team going to one of the townspeople's house, and she is going to tell the story of the Evans kids, and I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to open up in the next book. And that puts me at page 332. I just love this book so much. I can't wait to read the next one, and I will check back in with you when I'm ready. So I just finished the fourth book, and wow, 5 stars, definitely. We open up finding out from Diana, who's the lady that they're talking to, all about what went down with their dad and with them and everything she was told by Dev, who was one of the kids that got away. He didn't actually partake in anything. So we get that whole story. The town is completely corrupt. They need to be taken down a peg, and I'm really glad that Lana is here doing that for them. Because the cops are so corrupt, though, they actually end up going after Logan, and he's down, and Lana knows that they're going after him, so she dresses all in black and she goes and she saves him. And this actually in turn lets Logan know that the killer is a woman, because he sees her small stature and then he hears her laugh and he's like, oh, the killer is a woman now. We have to rework our whole profile and go from there. So now this whole time Leonard, his partner, has been kind of suspicious about Lana. The whole book he's been eyeing her, noticing things, and at the end of the book he actually ends up telling Logan, which is the last scene of the book, that Lana is Kennedy Carlisle, the girl whose parents killed Jasmine Evans, who's Victoria's mom, and Victoria is Lana. That he still doesn't know though, but they're putting everything together and realizing that, oh crap, Lana is the one that is killing everybody. But before that, there's this haunted house, and Kyle is the last guy that she's going after. He is the sheriff's son. He is there. He is essentially forcing himself on a girl in the corner in this like haunted house sin room. So she goes in dressed in black. She has a Michael Myers mask on and has like a chainsaw. She kills one of the deputies with a knife. She stabs him, and then she goes and kills the other deputy with the chainsaw, and then she knocks Kyle out and takes him out of there. She brings him to Jake's car, and Jake drives away, and she goes into the woods. This actually causes them to find out that she has a partner, so now that's kind of in play too. So then we see Lana torturing Kyle. This one is super gross. She cuts off his fingers and forces him to eat them by like covering his mouth so he's forced to swallow. Ugh. Ugh. No. But she kills him, and then they string him up in the town circle, I guess. He's on the clock tower, and they're having a town meeting the next day, and the clock chimes and his body comes down, and they can all see he's been like skinned alive and has been castrated. This puts everybody into a tizzy, and they're like, oh my gosh, everything's going on now. So Logan is questioning his team's motives because he feels like they actually don't want the killer to be found, that they're sympathizing with her, and he's kind of wondering what to do about that. But that's when Leonard brings up that Lana is the killer, and he goes back home. They have a quick hate fuck, and then he takes her hands and cuffs her to the bed, and then he leaves. She, of course, knows how to pick a lock, so she gets out, and then she goes to Jake's new place, and she's heartbroken because Logan in the end like really didn't want to hear her out at all or do anything of the sort. So she's like, I love you, but he would not say it back to her, and she kind of had a feeling that he wasn't going to go for it when she told him about all of this, and clearly she thinks she's right because of what he did. So that's how we leave off. The next book is the fifth one, which is the culmination of everything. I'm really excited to see how everything ends again because I did forget a ton of this book. I knew the basic backstory and everything, but some of the things that she put in here are really, really heart-wrenching, and I totally forgot how much this book actually makes you feel things for a serial killer. But I will be back tomorrow with an update for this last book and to close out the vlog. Hey guys, so I'm back with my final update. I finished Painted All Red on Saturday night. I read all of the books in one day. This is 2 days later though that I'm updating on the last one because I was feeling real lazy yesterday and did not want to put makeup on or do anything. So I just didn't. So this last book starts off with Logan going back and finding out that Hadley and Leonard pretty much knew that she was the killer and didn't do anything about it. So he's pissed at his team now. He goes back to talk to Lana, but he finds out that Lana has escaped her cuffs and has disappeared and he can't find her anywhere. Lana has gone back and she's gone to Jake's house and they're talking. She's telling him everything that happened and they decide that they need to continue on. So she goes to kill the judge and the deputy. So when she comes back from killing the judge and deputy, she finds Hadley over at their house, pretty much on top of Jake, and she's riding him. So that was a really, really funny scene. She just walks in on it and they look at her and they're like, get out. So she leaves and she's like, what is going on now? But because she killed the judge and the deputy, she knows that the rest of the town is going to go after one of their wives because they were hiding stuff, and she goes to protect the wife and child. While she's there trying to get them out, people do come and she ends up killing the two guys that come to murder them. And she ends up getting stuck in a closet because Logan shows up sooner than expected. So she's stuck in the closet. She eventually gets out when Logan takes the wife downstairs to go find the stuff that they've been hiding. But Logan is smart and he knows that she was the one that killed them. So he actually follows her. She walks off into the woods and he follows her. So he grabs her when they're in the woods and he pretty much professes his love for her, and they end up going back to the house. So when they walk into the house, Hadley and Jake are there, obviously still, and Logan walks in, sees Hadley, he's like, what are you doing? And both of them look at him like, are we going to be arrested? And he ends up telling them, no, I'm on your side now, essentially. And they are all working together at this point now. This is all after Lana gives him the rest of her backstory and her exact reasoning for doing what she is doing. So at this point, the lead FBI guy is really trying to cover his tracks, so he manages to get his team sent back home, so Logan and the rest of them have to leave, otherwise they could be arrested for staying where they're not wanted anymore. So Lana and Jake take this as an opportunity to go around and paint more things around the town and pretty much just terrorize the town even more. So one of the last people that Lana has to kill is the sheriff. So she goes, she kills the sheriff. One thing I really enjoyed about this was she killed him in his bathroom, and she ends up playing the song I Shot the Sheriff really loudly while she shoots him while he's in his shower. So while she's doing that, Jake is terrorizing the town. He's playing Down with the Sickness by Disturbed through the speakers, which again, love that song. So that was really nice to see it included in the book. And more messages are popping up all over telling the townspeople to get out. He's put a video on through their TVs, and he's just like, if you are not part of this, get out of town now. You need to leave. So now the only people left in the town are the ones that were backing the sheriff. They actually don't know he's dead yet. They've all congregated in one spot, and this is where everything is going to happen. Lana ends up showing up with a shotgun. She's rigged bombs to go off, and she walks into, I can't remember if it was like the church or something, and she starts shooting everybody. She ends up getting shot herself, and she doesn't think she's going to get out, so she calls Logan and tells him that she loves him, and Jake ends up cutting off all the cameras that were playing, and they are super, super worried about her. But the next thing we know is the building blows up. So now we flash back to Logan, who has ended up taking 3 months off because he pretty much had a meltdown after seeing the building explode. Only a couple people know why he was having that meltdown. Everybody else just thought it was because they were forced out of the town and people ended up dying. But as soon as he comes back from his forced vacation, he had been working the whole time trying to find out who the real killer was, and he does find out, and he goes and confronts the real killer. And the real killer ends up being Jake's dad, who was one of Lana's dad's best friends and his lawyer as well. But they see that that's why he really wasn't trying that hard to get him out of jail, because this was protecting himself. So why would he try and get somebody else out who's taking the fall for him? So Logan confronts him. He's in a home right now because he's not doing well. He's sick, and Logan ends up shooting him in the penis. Oh, and Logan also resigned from the FBI before he shot the guy. Him shooting Jake's dad is him telling Lana that he's totally in with her, because right as he was resigning from the FBI, Hadley came over and said that they had found the last guy on Lana's kill list dead and castrated. And this tips them off that Lana and Jake actually managed to survive and they got out, and he knows he just needs to go to her and that they need to be together. So Logan actually gives Hadley the option to go with him to find Lana and Jake, and he says that if you come with me, we can never come back, like this is it. She chooses to go with him. He had realized that when they were talking one time, she said she would love to go to Greece. So he's like, I think I know where they are. I think they're in Greece, like on a boat, which is where they were. So they show up on the boat, and Lana is ecstatic when he shows up. He tells her that it was him that killed Jake's dad, and he did it for her, to tell her how much he loved her and that he wanted to be with her again. It was a nice ending for a very brutal book. And in the epilogue, which I really, really loved, was because Lana had been killing for so long and so many people, it was kind of like ingrained in her now. So every year, it sounds like, he gives her an anniversary present where she gets to kill somebody bad. Leonard is actually helping him because Leonard still stayed in the FBI because he didn't really have anything to do with it. And they're all working together to kill the killers that aren't being caught by the FBI and aren't paying the penance that they should. But that's how the book ends, and I had such a good time rereading this series. Yes, it is very dark. Yes, you should check the trigger warnings. If at this point you haven't, what are you doing here? Because I just spoiled everything for you. But Lana was such a strong-willed character, and I loved seeing that put down on page. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and she knew that she needed to get her revenge to feel better and to continue living her life the way she should. And I'm happy that in the end, Logan came around and actually embraced that side of her and chose to love her anyway. Also, the whole Jake and Hadley thing was a really cute addition that I really liked. I know I said earlier that I didn't change any of my ratings, but I actually changed my rating for the last book, the 5th one. The 4th one got a 5-star from me, which that is what it got the first time. But this 5th book, I actually ended up giving it a 4.5 star instead of a 4-star like I had done the first time around. So I would say having 3 5-stars, a 4-star, and a 4.5, I would give this whole series overall a 5-star rating from me. I'm so happy that you could come along on this journey with me while I was reading the Mindfuck series again, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let me know some of your thoughts and feelings on this series in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!